It's back. Okay, you're good.
30 seconds. Okay. So what I was saying was the reason that you probably and a lot of lower level players feel like the only time that they can get shit done is smoking is because they haven't done a good job dewarding enemy observer wards. Because if your opponents don't have wards and you're playing in their jungle on like high grounds, they're not going to know you're there. Which means that you can easily jump from high ground to dive at tier 2, or you can jump here to dive down at the tier 1, because they're not going to know where you guys all are. So it's very important that you are. I've talked a lot about wards here, but to reiterate, make sure that you don't show your hero on lane. If you guys are going to push top tier 2, let one guy who can push fast with an AoE or a carry, he pushes out the lane, and the supports instantly go to the jungle. You want to run tangential to the lane. Do you know why that is? It's not just vision.
Tangential.
Or it's parallel, actually. Sorry. Wrong term.
Of course. It's because, the more... Alright, let me explain this. I understand this concept because I play techies. This is exactly how I play techies. Every moment that they see you as techies, you fucked up. Because you want that air of mystery. You want to never know, where's techie mining?
Yep.
Is anything safe? And if I can change that over with my techie playstyle to my position 5 support, it's the exact same thing.
Yep.
Except I'm not going to insta-kill 5 people. Maybe I'll be able to get a sentry or some stupid bullshit. But it's still important.
No, it's not just sentries. It's that you'll be in the right place to turn a gank or change things up. Because what normally happens if I play with like 4 low-level players is, what's going to happen is most of my guys are sitting here and here. There'll be like a core hitting neutral creeps and like 2 supports just fucking standing here because they don't know where to be. And I'm up here trying to push this lane, which means that if my opponents eventually get wise and are like, hey, he keeps pushing this lane repeatedly, they'll take 3 heroes and they'll run like this and try to kill me. But if a support is like sitting here parallel to my creep wave, he's basically a ward. He's standing there with vision. If these 3 guys spot my support and my support spots them, nothing happens. We both run away. No one dies.
Support probably dies, but yeah.
No, well, it depends. If it's on flat ground, he's going to see them coming.
Tangential.
Parallel, yes.
Then he'll die. Continue.
So that's part of the reason that you want one guy pushing the lane like this, and you want the other guys to go like this, because now there's more vision. You basically have 2 wards giving vision, and people that are coming to gank the guy that's pushing the lane are never going to run through the lane. Because they know they're going to either run into creeps on their way to kill that guy, which will reveal their position, or they're going to run into the guy who's running this way. And you don't want to gank somebody if they have the same vision range as you, running straight at each other. It's like if you're trying to gank a train by running down the train tracks, he's going to fucking see you at the same time you see him, and then the train's going to hit you and you'll die and splatter into a million pieces. So you want to hide in the trees next to the train tracks and running parallel with it. That way you can see the train coming, but he can't see you because you're hiding in the trees. Does that make sense?
Then you stab him in the back.
Then you stab the train in the back. Exactly.
This is great too, because I always wonder what to do with worthless people on my team. I'll tell them to go into the jungle, like worthless supports. But now I could just say, hey, just stay parallel to me and act as a ward, and then they'll feel like they're doing something.
And don't just say act like a ward, act like a ward, and then you can help me if any baddies come, or...
And then you just leave them to die.
Possibly, yes. But if you are carry and you get a lot of farm while doing this and your support dies, it's not that big of a deal, because then that gank became a support kill and not a core kill. And higher net worth heroes are more or lose more if they die.
All right. This is great. That's very useful.
And keep in mind what we said before. When you push creep waves, it gives you vision, and then you have creeps on towers. And what happens when you're when you're respawning and you look at a creep wave hitting your tower? What do you
instantly TP to the tower?
Exactly.
Because you want to stop. And then if we're hanging out in the jungle, get a big pick, you get that insta kill, and then you're probably taking the tower. Makes sense.
Exactly.
Stay hidden in the trees.
In the middle parts of the map.
Got it.
And again, this all revolves around sentries to deward wards and things like that. So when you're pushing these lanes, another thing to keep in mind is how fast it's going to take for somebody to get there and stab you in the back. It's common examples. Storm Spirit. It's terrifying, right?
Yep.
If you're losing against a storm, he can basically come from almost any distance and fucking murder you. So to make that harder, obviously it would help if Storm isn't ahead, but you need to adjust your play based on how quickly somebody can be there. Because if your opponents are brain dead, they're only going to react to what they physically see. Oh, look, he's in the creep wave. I will TP now. And then how long will it take for them to finish their TP and then get from there to, we'll say, here? It's probably like 6 seconds or something. That means that the time that you spend to kill a creep wave here should be less than 6 seconds. Because as soon as you show yourself here, oh shit, they know you're here. They're gonna they're gonna probably start teleporting, and then they'll try to kill you. If it's a storm, good luck getting away. But most heroes are not that mobile. So, and that's like the trade-off. Highly mobile heroes can better punish split pushers like this, for example. That's why Ember Spirit is so good at split pushing. You put your remnant down over here, you go and push this wave out, and if you see even a fucking mouse, you flame remnant back, and you get back to safety. But knowing how long you can push is based on how strong your heroes are. That's why Shadow Blades are good. Shadow Blades are similar to are basically ganking items in that you can see your opponents with your vision before they see you, and that lets you set up the gank correctly. You can Shadow Blade through here, kind of like smoking. You see enemies jungling, you call your whole fucking team to come, they run over slowly, and then you get a kill. But the amount of time that they spend there farming is based on how fast it's going to take for them to kill that creep wave, or if they see you, obviously. But in a perfect circumstance, this means that you want to always reduce the reaction time when you want to gank a guy and how long it takes for you and enough people to kill him to get there. So this also ties in. Let me finish this. This also now ties in to you being in the jungle nearby, because it always is going to lower your reaction time. Because the closer you are, the faster it is for you to respond to a guy comes up to a creep wave, and now you can both jump out almost instantly. And then from there, you just have to start anticipating is the next step. Where is the person going to farm next? I think he's going to push top lane. It's like ganking a Tinker, basically. You know what that's like. I think Tinker's going to TP this creep wave. He does, you get the kill. But it's the same for any other hero that doesn't have a BOTs. Start predicting where they're going to go. If they just killed the creep wave and they disappeared, I guarantee you, if they're good, they're at this camp. And after that camp, they're going to go to this camp. And after that camp, they're going to go to this camp. So you can basically use that. He kills this creep wave, he runs to the jungle, you guys smoke, knowing that you're going to catch him about here. So then you can start anticipating those movements while playing the other map control method. So that's basically allowing you to map control and allowing you to gank. And it basically means this is how you play late game Dota.
But
is with these things.
I can already guess where people are going to be without wards based on their map movement, why would I buy wards? That's how I play right now anyway.
What about your 4 teammates?
They just listen to me. I just scream at them. It's exactly how I play right now. Exactly what you said. Okay, I just saw that guy farming. It takes this long to do this camp. It takes this long to do this camp. He's probably already cleared those. Let's go for camp number 3. Boys, let's go. I find him. I kill him. No wards needed. Everything's great.
How often are you allowed to make those informed decisions? By the way, how did you get this inference in the first place? In your example,
that's what you said is that.
Well, where'd you see him in the first place to know which camps he's going to be at?
All right, let's say he's at tier 1 Dire, and he's at Dire, and he's a Shadow Fiend with a Shadow Blade. You know, he goes up to the shrine here, the outpost here. He clears that up. He gets scared. He goes back. I know he's going to hit the small creep camp, and then I know that he's going to move on to this second creep camp because he's too much of a pussy to go to this forward.
So where did you see him in the first place?
Right in front of the the outpost.
Okay, so you basically got vision of him from a naturally occurring method, and that's why you made your good decision and your good read. Okay, that's great. Imagine how many more good reads you could make if you had more vision.
Okay, sure. And I will say, by the way, one of the only times that I ever buy sentry wards is when I see some asshole with a Shadow Blade first item. That's, to me, that clicks it off. Yep. Because if you can get them with sentries every single time for the next 3 kills, they are just
their game is over. Yeah,
their game is over.
That's
so
exactly right.
I do have that naturally bled into my mind. If I see a Shadow Blade and boots, I buy like 7 sentry wards.
That's exactly right, and that's another reason that sentries are mandatory. If you're pushing against invis heroes, what do? You put the sentry ward right in front of the tower range. That way, your team is protected. As you siege the tower, you'll see the invis heroes coming. Although those Shadow Blade, like SF Shadow Blades, are like almost non-existent right now. I feel like I haven't gotten ulti like that in a while, but
if I'm up against a Mirana, I'll buy a fuckload of sentries too, because
that's
Mirana gets her entire team to be out of position under a sentry, and that to me is economically worth it.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Okay. For good team fights.
Yeah.
If you are sieging towers, it really helps to have observer wards in the area because you'll have high ground vision. This tower, I don't ward this cliff very often, but if my team is pushing the tier 2 and we're already in the enemy jungle, I will almost always ward this cliff because I know that it's going to give really good vision of the 2 main pathways that they come to attack, for example. So that's another reason that's really mandatory to have sentries and obs. You can deny their likely wards in like this area and this area and help protect your team as you push. When you go high ground, it is the same fucking method. You need a ward on the high ground for you to be successful in killing because you need a ward either here or on the other side. That way you can spot enemy heroes, and that makes it easier for your team to initiate. If you don't have those, there's a much better chance that your opponents just it'll basically make it harder for your team to initiate, which buys time. And with time, your opponents will have more time to find a way to initiate on you instead. So that's why vision advantage is so important. That's why heroes like Night Stalker have a good win rate, because he pops his ulti and all of a sudden he can see fucking everything in the fight, which makes it easier for your team to initiate properly. So that's another place that carrying wards and sentries is like mandatory.
Got it. See, that's my motto has always been ward with a purpose. Because I hate just putting down a ward and getting no info out of it. If we're pushing this tower, the tier 2 Dire, I'll try to slap a ward on that high ground every single time. If we're trying to go uphill, I'll put it uphill on the Ancients. Because to me, it doesn't make sense to ward until we have this discussion in random places for no reason. But, you know, if we're pushing and I put the ward down, then it has a reason. And it's useful instead of just being fucking in the middle of nowhere with a giant circle for no. But now I know. It's not about me. It's about helping my allies feel comfortable getting
pushing
more
lanes.
Space on the map.
Exactly.
And that's what's important. Okay.
Because that's going to give them more net worth, and it's going to make it easier for you guys to rapidly react to enemy positioning and therefore get kills. So that's basically what's missing from most players up until like 4.5 to 5K. Genuinely, is the biggest thing they're missing is not understanding how to pressure in the late game, and it is pushing lanes, warding aggressively, de-warding aggressively, and quickly reacting to enemy movements. There's a lot of kills that just happen with good wards and good positions, positioning.
And that's why outposts are so important to me now as a support player in the late game. Because some stupid asshole is always going to go one man. Oh, I'm over here. I'll go to the outpost. And if you can convince your team to go kill him while there's one guy, it's really good. And that should speak to how strong wards are. Because we only saw that because of the outpost vision. We could do that all over the map with good warding in the late game.
That's exactly right. It could, and now you're referring to, remember what you said earlier, like, oh, why would I go gank the jungle because my teammates just aren't going to be there? If you have wards like pervasively all over the place, you're going to see these opportunities more often.
But I said that about the early game. In the mid to late game, I ward the jungles and shit all the time because we can actually move to do shit. I don't see the point in warding at 8 minutes in the enemy jungle, because even if we see someone, we can't go do something. But now
that's fair. In like pre 10 minutes, contesting jungle heroes is not as viable. Although some of them do get very low, it is not uncommon for like mid heroes to back into the jungle and to get really low in HP and mana. So there are definitely times where warding very deep, if you're like a strong roaming hero like a Tiny, you can get like easy pickoffs sometimes. I'm not saying you should always ward deep, but definitely like it's very common to have, basically in the early game, we'll say pre 10 minutes, it's very common to have wards somewhere here, it's very common to have wards somewhere here, and it's very common to have wards somewhere here. Sometimes you will get like ones in the middle like this to spot rotations, like heroes running back and forth, especially in pro games. You'll see those more often. But in low levels, almost all the wards are like in the 3 lanes for obvious reasons, because that's where the heroes are. But as the game continues, the wards start shifting. Radiant wards will all be hereish. Dire wards will all be hereish, if they're playing correctly.
And this also just gave me a brain blast about what makes me the angriest in the game of Dota, is when you destroy the enemy carry. You kill them like 5 times. They disappear for the entire match, and then they come back and they're like higher level than everyone else. If we had wards in the enemy jungle, we could see them jungling and just keep on the pain. And maybe I'm forgetting about that.
I think that's slightly wrong. It's not about you warding their jungle to see where they are. It's about you pressuring the map. This is the push lane component of this.
Right.
If you push the lane, he has to show up. Because if he doesn't, they're going to lose. No, but listen, it's about, if you don't push the lanes, the creeps aren't going to be on the tower. If the creeps aren't on the tower, he doesn't feel any pressure and he can AFK jungle. So some like anti-mage, whatever, he can just sit back and hit neutral items for a long, or an alchemist. So this is what makes you scared about those late game carries. It's partially that you like to like force games to end them, but it's also because one thing you've always been weak at is setting up easy ganks and pressure. You've always been good about pushing lanes. You figured that out quickly with Zeus. You Nimbus other lanes to get them pushed, because I don't know, it feels like, makes you feel defended, but in reality it's pushing lanes, which is good. If lanes are pushed, it's busted. That's why like Prophet ulti is so, it restricts you so much, because it keeps all the creeps like here, and then you can't get past that line. So if you learn to do this to direct your teammates to basically push lane safely while you control the wards that are a little bit deeper to make them safe while they push, those guys that are supposed to be AFK farming, number one, they're not going to be able to AFK farm because this is going to be your new home. You're going to be living here while your offlaner pushes this lane. And as a result, that carry can't fucking farm here anymore. That's one less place you can farm. And while your offlane pressures this tower, if you realize nobody's coming, you guys can squeak out, kill the tower. Once that tier 2 is dead, now you can ward and control this part. Now anything past this line is not safe for that guy to farm. Yeah, he can still fuck around over here, but if you do this efficiently, with one guy pushing, you guys playing here, maybe one guy pushing here, you can bounce back and forth, getting kills. All of a sudden, like, all these towers are dead at like the 20-minute mark. And now the line of warding becomes like this.
Yep.
And then and once you have like all of this control, you just need like one guy to push this out. And then you're at this line. And now this is, where's he farm? Where does he fucking farm? You're going to see him when he leaves the base, and then you can start doing ganks on him.
Okay, all right, you've convinced me. I just now have to remember to buy wards, because I haven't done it since I started playing this game. So,
open your shop,
everything.
Look at the pinned items. I look there every time. I never look at the upper...
I've never looked here before in my life.
Why do you look at the other items? Everything else, except for your assistant on the left, all that shit to the right, it's all irrelevant.
Yeah.
You know what's there. You've played Dota enough. You need to look at what the stock are. What's in stock? Look at the pinned items. That's where I look every single time that I open the shop. Unless I know I'm searching for something else. Oh, I need to buy a bloodstone. Okay, I go buy a bloodstone.
I'll get used to it, but that seems very good. And the fact that wards don't keep respawning is just economically stupid to see a number 4 on there. So that will never happen again.
It's not just economically. It's going to result in you guys dying more often, getting less kills, and feeling less safe to farm at max efficiency. Like, the fastest you could farm is if there was no heroes on the map, right? And if you have perfect ward vision, that's basically what you can do.
Yes.
You can farm as fast as you want. Take the choicest bits every single time. The best cuts of meat. And occasionally the most perfect stabs in the back.
Sounds good. All right. What's next?
That's basically it.
That was pretty quick.
You can fit Roshan into there.
Mango trees. Did you see T-Governor's video on mango trees? I thought that was great.
I did not. Was it like tips of places to put it?
Yeah, it was really good. It was cool.
I'll have to check it out. It's definitely an item where I get it and I'm like, where the fuck do I put this thing? And I put it somewhere and it lasts for 10 minutes and then it dies.
It's very nice. Anyway, all right. Hi, wife. Oh, you got some nails I need to put on you? That's great. We're filming a show right now. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Can you take out Mr. Rue? Love you.
Yeah.
Bye. Okay, anyway. So, what should we do now, my friend? Should we play a game and practice before ranked?
Sure.
Should I jump into ranked?
Yeah, definitely don't jump into rank. Give yourself like...
I'm really tired, but did he go out at least a couple times already today? You didn't take him out at all?
I took about once. It was a long walk, but he needs to poop.
Okay, but he pooped with me this morning.
There's thousands of people watching. He needs to poop.
I know, but he pooped in the bed this morning, babe. And
Don't tell people he pooped in the bed. All right, we gotta go. Okay, anyway, let's do it.
Okay. Is that normal?
No, sometimes we wake up a little late and then he's holding it and one little rabbit-like pellet will roll out.
Oh, stop. It's not sometimes, it's one time.
There's one time. He's getting old. He's almost 10.
Don't start with me.
Okay, I promised I wouldn't talk about this, so I'm not going to. But let's. I gotta update, and then we're good to go.
Oh, I was gonna say I can't find you.
That's a long update.
Hey, Debbie, we're gonna go out in just a minute.
My show. Has Tango ever had accidents in the house?
Oh yeah, she puked.
Mr. Rue is such a good dog. He only pooped one time, and we didn't even know because he was so ashamed he ate it. That's how of a fucking good dog he is.
Yeah, she's done that once before.
We only saw the stain.
When we first got her, she would defecate in the house. She peed a few times. It took like about a month or something until she was good.
Why did you?
Now she always goes
defecate?
outside. I don't know. Felt
but
like
you
it.
said pee.
Do
So
you want me to say urinate?
yeah, I mean, if you're gonna put the time to not say poop, but
I
you
just
will
felt
say
like saying.
defecate,
I felt like saying defecate.
but you won't say urinate, which is okay. Anyway,
I don't know. I just felt like
let's
saying
go.
defecate. Is that weird?
Let man, I can't. Get out of here, dude. Let's play some. Yes, there we go. Okay.
Can Fogged play too?
No.
Oops. You sure?
Okay, fine. Fog can play only if he teaches me things and doesn't flame me.
He's gonna play 4, so that means you're playing 5.
Okay. Training time.